In this universe,
in this galaxy, in this world, beneath the influencer clouds,
over the viral video fields,
off the information superhighway,
there are voices in the digital wilderness, whispering
more opinions.
If you listen,
you will hear. And we're back! Woo!
It's Monday, and guess where all the cool kids are? Not here.
Not here. Well, 3 of them are. And us 2 are ish. So, jump to 5. Look at it. We put out the Gondor beacon and 2 other people showed up. So, yeah, we are back. I hope everybody enjoyed their holidays and had a good and safe one. I do have to start off right away by apologizing to our friend Freak Nasty Butt Sex, because I got a random text on Monday. What? No show? Like, no, dude, we're taking the holiday. Like, it was New Year's Day. He's like, oh shit. I guess I'm gonna go back to bed then, because he set an alarm and got up to watch the show and everything. So, our humblest apologies, Freak Nasty, and I hope we'd see you tonight sometime.
He set an alarm to be awake for 6 o'clock Pacific time. Unless he's on graveyards, I don't get it.
No, it's Freak Nasty, so who knows, right?
Hey, Tex and Ryan.
No. Well, winter did, though. Holy shnikes. It got cold in a hurry.
Cold but snow?
Yes, a little bit. But so cold. I think we're supposed to, it was, put this in perspective, it was +7 when we left for the wedding on Saturday. Went to Strathmore for my cousin's wedding. It is supposed to be -37 by next Friday.
That's like Mackenzie in the 90s kind of cold.
Yes, like cold as balls.
Yeah.
So,
Hola,
hey, Bolo. Hello, Bolo. Hey, so let's start off with a bang, giggity. Did Epstein's list get released yet?
Of course, I saw the clickbait news articles about it. So,
yeah.
From what I have heard from other people talking about it, it's not much different than what we knew about it in the past. In terms of flight logs, not really, but people he associated with in any way, shape, or form, perhaps. So he may have had a business transaction with someone. That does not mean that that person went to the island.
No, and let's get something straight. For the 3 of us here that'll know, because we've had a conversation about it. Me, the redneck, Ryan, and my co-host knew a guy who has done some nefarious things here in the past few years. Just because we know who the guy is doesn't mean that we were also involved in nefarious things.
Yeah,
right?
It's like guilt by association.
Yes, exactly. So, speaking of that kind of guilt by, like, so interesting.
Hello, Big Red.
Hi, Red. What's up?
No.
So a lot of people might not have heard this. This is, again, this is the great thing about the show, bouncing everywhere, talking about Epstein with the sexual predator and whatnot. So a story has come out about Chris Jericho, the wrestler, that he might have had an inappropriate passing at a fellow wrestler. Now, without divulging too much into this, it's a long story involving CM Punk and a whole thing and blah, blah, blah. But the Reader's Digest version is Christmas morning. He decided to start running his mouth about he's never signed an NDA. And then it comes to light that apparently there might have been an NDA involved with a former female wrestler, non-disclosure agreement. So you can't talk about what's happened for everyone who doesn't know. So, and it comes out, everyone's like, oh, he made a pass at this girl, invited her back to his hotel room, and she knocked down his advances. Now, This is the problem with society. Of course, the internet jumped all over, especially the wrestling community, about how he's a this and that and the other thing and a pig and blah, 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 right? Now, if the guy, all he did was make a pass at a woman, that there shouldn't be a problem. She said no, and that was the end of it. If that is what happened, he's married, so he is a piece of crap because he's married, so he shouldn't be doing that. But just because he made a pass at a woman doesn't mean that he's a dirty sex pervert. And I think that gets lost on a lot of people these days is that, like, my goodness, if me and Ryan, if the guys in this room or in this conversation with the women, well, even Red, for the women that she's hit on or guys she's hit on, like we've talked about this, and they've said no, does that mean that you're a dirty sex pervert that tried to finger bang him and wherever you asked them that question? No, it was a simple, well, okay, maybe once or twice, but joking. Yeah, he's gonna flag that one. But just be like this. That's why I fear for young people now. They're not gonna want to ask a girl on a date because they're gonna be like, oh, this guy's trying to seduce. Yeah, he's a bastard. Right? It's scary. And again, we don't know the details, but if all he did was ask, hey, if he was like, hey, baby, and she's like, no, that should be the end of the conversation. And yeah, he swung, he missed. That should be it. Thoughts?
Dirty sex pervert. I don't think that would have been the first time that title would have been used in the wrestling business.
And that's what I was going to say. I'm sure there was a gimmick back in the 80s or 90s where there was someone with a dirty sex pervert. Well, Val Venus.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So on that, not Val Venus, but that situation in general, sometimes it is the case that when a story like that comes to light, it's years later. So even the people involved, directly involved, meaning Jericho and the person in question, they might not even remember what exactly was said. And that's very important to parse. Some people will think, no, it doesn't matter what was said. Of course it does. It matters exactly what was said. Mm-hmm. And it may be the case if someone was a fly on the wall and they heard exactly what was said, then it could be determined what the exact intention was with the words used, because mm-hmm. words have meaning. And of course, the term rape culture, or the phrase, that's going to be brought up at some point. Well, he did it because he was raised in that kind of culture. Depends on what he said, what he asked, what his intentions were. We weren't there. We don't know. I'm going with the Ken Ham defense. Were you there? No. But you know what was there? The Bible. No, that's taking it out of context. Wow. Yes, you need to be canceled immediately in this day and age. Yep, you're gone. You're done. And because you're commenting on our show, we are platforming you, and therefore we are guilty by association. And it's just as if we ourselves had done that to said blokes. Therefore, we must be canceled too. That's how it is in this day and age. I'm exaggerating like someone on the right wing, of course.
Well, no, doesn't it just mean we're gay because we pinch arses too because we're associated with her pinching arses?
No,
that's
you said not blokes. Necessarily true. No.
Well, she said blokes. Oh, bisexual then? Or are we just dirty sex perverts?
I would go with dirty sex perverts because that's far less egregious than in America being called gay in some cases. Because some people still use that as an insult, strangely enough.
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah. I don't know.
It's strange. Okay, so actually there's some segue to the here's my next
segue.
Yeah, and I ran this past a very liberal friend of mine today, and he went, you have a point. You're not wrong. So, and Texas here, so I'm sure he will chime in because I'm going to mention guns. So, whenever guns are mentioned, whenever there's a shooting, what is that, like a mass shooting? What is most right-wing guys say? Oh, well, it was a one-off. It doesn't always happen, right? You can't lump us all into that because that one person did that act, right? Like that is what they always say, right? Like, we're not all gun nuts. This guy was just a bad apple. That's always is the primary go-to, right? It is. So then I started thinking, because over the holidays, of course, I'm always looking for content for the show, and up pops a bunch of stuff talking about the transgender, movement and what's happening. And it brought up this one of them, how this young man molested a girl in a change room who was claiming that he was a man or a woman, that they were transitioning. So, of course, then that turns into, well, that's why they want to do, because they all want to be, well, they're not trying to make a joke, but dirty sex perverts and get at girls, right? But how often do you actually hear about that happening? Not very often, right? Like where there's a, go ahead.
Because the media's covering it up.
Okay. I'm glad you said that, because now I can retort with, but how come when someone shoots up a school, that's a one-off, and no, that doesn't happen all the time, and that's just false news. But for the one person, two person we've heard with this molesting or whatever in a bathroom, that means that every single person that is transitioning is out to do this.
Because the liberal media.
Oh, that's right. That's what it is. Right.
Which controls 95% of all the media.
So that's why we can, because on this show we have confirmed,
Illuminati confirmed.
And
the Bilderbergs.
Yeah, so
I'm going to update that pretty soon.
Okay.
Wrong.
That's a bolo. But do you see what I'm getting at, though, right?
Yeah.
It's one of those things like, well, we can use this for an excuse for our shortcomings, but you can't use it for your shortcomings, if you will. Which is, it's funny because that's exactly what Alex had said on a different subject we were talking about before the show. It's that satanic panic, right? And do a little digging. The Church of Satan is really, it's not about Satan. It's not about, read a book, but all they see is Satan. And their hairs are on fire. Thoughts?
I love that Big Red brought up the Satanism in the 80s. The satanic panic is what that particular, let's say, movement was called. And that exists to this day, but in a different form. We can still hearken back to that by calling it the satanic panic of today, because the right wing always needs a boogeyman. I suppose the left wing could be pulled into that as well, because there's, I think that case could be made, and I'll leave that to Tex to do. You got to have a boogeyman so that you can unite people and tug on their heartstrings and make them scared, and make them buy stuff, which is what the liberal media is accused of, creating fear so people will buy stuff, and the self-perpetuating cycle.
So their equivalent, do you think that the left's boogeyman would be Trump?
One of them, yes.
Like, yeah. I mean, right when you said that, that's what came to mind almost immediately is they'd be, Trump. Right? Like, or Jordan Peterson or any of those big guys. And that's just it. Tex just said it. Orange man bad. Like, come on.
That's OMB for short.
Yes. Oh, yeah. See, we're going to go with acronyms now all the time.
Yes.
Now, give me kudos. I used a big word in a right spot.
When?
Isn't acronym? Isn't that like what an acronym is? OMB.
Uh-huh. It's not that big a word.
For me, it is.
Yeah. Okay.
Dude, I like the smell of my own farts. I mean, come on. I think I just,
Wow.
I think I just made a huge step forward here in my life. Come on. At least give me that.
Yep. And it goes back to exaggerating a situation to the point of bad comedy on the other side. So, for example, with some of the transgender movement, some of them want to read to kids. Okay, Nothing wrong with that. Somebody's got to read your kids at some point in time. But why do they want access to your children? That's the exaggeration. Then the blanket statement rolls in. They all want to do this to you. No, they don't. They don't.
And before anybody, not that they're going to jump in the chat here, anybody that would ever see this in the future, go back and watch our other shows. We've talked about the strip clubs, or the strip things for kids that is grossly inappropriate. But again, a small section of what happened. A small. And then I will also retort with, why do they want to read to children? I don't know. Why do all your priests want to read to children? Oh, they want to spread the word of God and love, right? But they all don't want to. It's the same. But I have an imaginary book that says I'm right and you're not. Or sorry, I have a book about an imaginary man who says I'm right and you're not. Like, on fire! Yeah. So,
and we're losing viewers, so we should probably move on to something else.
All right, what's next?
I wanted to go into, and I had mentioned this to you off air before we got on. And hello, Jolene.
Hello, Jolene.
Happy New Year. Always radical people. Yes. And the thing with that is that those radical people, as small in number as they are, they get blown up by other people to apparently be that size when in reality they are that size. It's 10 people. It's actually 100 people. Please stop exaggerating. I'm not talking to you when I say this, Jolene. It's within the context of what I'm talking about. The number of radical people are 10, but somehow it gets exaggerated to be 100. Then it gets exaggerated to be everyone. It turns into a blanket statement. It's disgusting. It's terrible. It's Chad, speaking of which. Happy New Year.
Hi, Chadney. Happy New Year's, my friend. We can't. I need to look this up before we talk about anything.
That's awesome. He was in cahoots.
So let's okay. I'm just reading this right now. Okay, I'm not seeing anything, so I don't know why anything. I'm just
Jolene, are you keeping that husband of yours under control?
Actually, me and Brody and the boys went to wrestling on Friday, which is awesome. Jolene, your truck is really awesome. I sat in it while we were waiting for the doors to open. What a beautiful truck. Dewey got a chair thrown at him.
Wow.
At the end of the show, so Dewey is a baby face cutting a promo for the next show, and his old guy got up and threw a chair at him.
Is he okay?
He's fine. He was ready and caught it. The old guy was like, "Meh." But
as old guys do.
Now, if it had been a younger guy, I probably would have punched him. I would have hit him, because you don't do that to wrestlers. And he's a friend, and you just don't do that. But he was old, and I probably would have killed him. But yeah, he totally threw a chair at Dewey. It was anyways. Back to Ryan. I am not seeing anything here. Now, what year did that all happen? I'm not seeing I just put in Robert Pickton, but of course I put Justin Trudeau and Robert Pickton.
If you remember your Canadian true crime history, shout out to Canadian True Crime Podcast, which will be releasing an episode near the end of this month, if I remember correctly. The Robert Pickton stuff started happening in the early 90s, I think, and went up to
early 90s,
2001 or 2?
Yeah. So, how old's Justin Trudeau?
45?
Do the math. The guy was 20 years old in school, living off his daddy's name.
Yeah.
Well, he wasn't again, these people who would even for 1 second go, "Oh, Robert Pickton, was in cahoots with Justin Trudeau." The guy was living in Ontario and 20 years old.
I have got to see the pins on the wall with all the strings going.
Yeah,
for
with the
that
crazy
one.
like going like
Yeah, Charlie Day's like,
yeah, like wow. That's actually a wormhole. Okay, I'm gonna try to listen. I'm gonna listen while you're talking to the next subject. I gotta see if I can find this because this is amazing.
So Nick gave a great example on a different subject with regards to wrestling. Some people are going to hear the story that Nick was talking about with the old guy, and those people will say, "Well, all wrestlers are like that because they think it's so real and they exaggerate so much and they get so into it." No, that's one guy. That's an old guy. Of course, because he's old, he should have known better. But I struggle to understand why he would do that. Happy New Year, Junior. Justin wears fake eyebrows. Yeah. And Ron DeSantis wears fake heels to make himself look taller. Fake eyebrows. Nice. That's kind of strange, actually. I wonder if there was some poll done for the Canadian people on how Justin Trudeau looks. And there were two photos compared, him with thinner eyebrows and then him with thicker, dark eyebrows. And his team is like, you got to wear the fake eyebrows because then it'll make you look better in front of the people. What? It's down to that level? No.
Okay, Ryan has sent me a reel. Do you want to listen to it?
Yeah.
Like this is on. Ryan just sent it to me. We can watch this together and then be like, oh, this is ridiculous.
Now, before you play it, Ryan, is there any music in there? Because I'm not taking a chance on copyrighted anything at this point. Trudeau might have been teaching in Vancouver at that time. You might have a point, Chad. I think it was around that time, late 90s, early 2000s. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So might have been.
Just because two people existed in a general area at the same time doesn't mean anything. Hell, I was in Vancouver since 2001. Did I help Robert Picton?
I
be
knew
the
it.
judge.
That's why you moved to Vancouver.
Yeah. Yep, that's why. Yep.
I knew it. I knew it.
Come on, man. Get a life.
Okay, we want to watch this. I don't think there's music in it. So
okay, go ahead.
All right. This is ridiculous.
Yes, it is.
All right. This is okay. Ready? All right.
A mile and a quarter? Who talks like
I guess knots. He lived about a mile and a quarter from the pig farm, and we were told that he was a regular there. We've had people that have been investigating for years now, and his roommate is a convicted pedophile, and he did 6 months in prison for pedophilia. That was it. And we got you back, Amina.
You mentioned the pig farm, but for those that don't know what that refers to,
it's the Picton Pig Farm, and it was a pig farm that they sold 600 odd acres that got rezoned as residential from agricultural. The Pictons made millions on that. They retained another 6.5 acres, which had a huge barn, some outbuildings, and a butchery. And Linda Picton, David Picton, and Willie Picton's sister sat on the Privy Council of Canada, like the Prime Minister's office. She was a very powerful person, and she had this pig farm registered as a charity, a federally regulated charity.
All right, that's
Piggy Palace Good Times Society.
Yeah, and he's telling the whole Rickon story. So
aside from mentioning Robert Picton, the pig farm, and Linda and Robert's brother, the guy is speaking in generalities. He's not making any specific points. And Ryan is saying, yeah, he's living in Point Grey, referring to Justin Trudeau living in Point Grey. If that, and the Picton farm, if I remember correctly, was in Port Coquitlam.
Coquitlam, yep.
I myself was living, well, I'm currently living closer to the Picton farm than Trudeau was. I wasn't in Vancouver until late 2001. So are we going to jump to the conclusion, and that's some of the only exercise that some people get aside from running their mouths, that everyone who was within a 1.25 mile radius of the Picton farm were all involved in it? You take 1.25 mile in any direction, a radius around that Picton farm, and make the blanket statement that anyone who lives within that circle, they're involved. That's the stupidest thing I've heard since this show started.
I'm just trying to figure something out here, just so I can just say this is ridiculous.
Yeah. And another thing that's ridiculous, and I'll jump in on this before I forget it. Sorry to cut you off.
Yeah, go. No, go.
Apparently, the old guy was saying that Justin Trudeau's roommate was convicted of pedophilia and served 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
What's the guy's name, for F's sake?
Well, I found it. I won't say the guy's name, but I did find it. But it looks like a sketchy website to be. But if what our correspondent on the ground, the redneck Ryan, is saying is correct here, that he lived in Port Grey, which you also said as well. It's not, what did he say, 1.25 miles from the ranch? He's actually 44.3 kilometers away from Port Coquitlam.
You know what? That makes more sense. Yeah.
I just punched it in. Port Grey is like right on like the little, like where West Vancouver, so West Vancouver, I'm doing it backwards to you. North Vancouver, Burnaby, Vancouver. Point Grey is like slanted up from Richmond. So yeah, it's 44 kilometers away.
Point Grey is going out toward UBC, which is pretty much looking at Vancouver Island from the mainland.
Here. Well, duh. I keep forgetting. Duh. I did all this like news pointing. It just could have went like this. That's the distance.
Yeah.
That's the distance. Like, that's a fair. Okay, so why don't we go like this then? Let's see. I bet you it won't pop up now. Okay, wait. I will bring this down.
And
why don't
Jolene,
we go ahead?
Sorry. Jolene, you're exactly right to be skeptical. And I have, in the last few years, become skeptical to that degree and more. Someone says something, I immediately want to know very specifically exactly what they're talking about. Names, dates, locations, things like that. Things that can be verified. I learned this from listening to the Knowledge Fight podcast, that if Alex Jones speaks in generalities, it's hard for Dan to research what Alex is saying and find out if it's true or not. But if he gives names, dates, locations, that kind of thing, then he can pin it down. But it's getting more and more difficult to do that.
So yeah, I can't find. Yeah.
Jolene was saying that, or pardon me, Chad is saying that it sounds like they're making it up as they go. Good possibility. Then again, when you're on a live show, as Nick and I have done, sometimes your words get away from you and you end up speaking out of turn. I myself have done this many times. Not to the degree that guy did, but, something like that.
Yeah. So, okay. Anyways, we veered off on a tangent there. Go ahead. What you wanted to go on about kayfabe and whatnot.
Can you break down for me a Reader's Digest version of what kayfabe is? And kayfabe comes from the world of wrestling.
So kayfabe basically is if me and you were working a wrestling program together, everyone thinks we hate each other, but we more than likely get along. We're friends. But we live the gimmick. If me and you lived in Mackenzie and we're wrestlers, like, we would send our wives. Back in the day, they'd send their wives to do the grocery shopping, because you can't have Nick and Alex in the same building together because we should be wanting to fight each other. That's kayfabe. That is a Reader's Digest version of kayfabe, and that is so lost in wrestling. But continue.
Yeah. So basically, keeping the storyline going in real life when it's usually contained to the TV program. something like that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. That's exact. Like in kayfabe, perfect example for the more for our age guys. Stone Cold Steve Austin did not hate Vince McMahon, but in kayfabe, he was always fighting with his boss. Kayfabe.
Yeah, and that's what's known. That's what's known as a work.
A work.
Or am
Yep.
I?
That's
Okay,
a work.
all right.
Yeah, a shoot. A great example of a shoot. Especially on live air. There was a tag team called the Public Enemy, and they were going to have a match against the Acolytes. The Acolytes were a badass tag team of Justin, Hawk, Bradshaw, and Farouk. Very wild veterans, and basically the rule in wrestling is you do what the veteran says, and that's what's happening. Well, right before they went out, Public Enemy tried to change the finish. And they ended up getting their asses kicked live on TV by the Acolytes. And I mean, like, legitly beat the shit out of them live on TV. That's a shoot. Yeah. So,
Okay.
in the wrestling world.
Well, shout out to all the people who are watching us right now, 10 on YouTube and 1 each on our Facebook pages. Thank you very much. That's great for the new year.
Thank you, Chadney. That's the best what Andy Kaufman did in wrestling. That is perfect. If you knew what Andy Kaufman did, that was all kayfabe. And that was a work. Thanks, Chadney. Perfect example.
Now, what the thing is with Andy Kaufman is he did no tongue-in-cheek performance.
Yes.
People thought it was real, absolutely real.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah. He never let up that it was just a work.
Yep.
Yeah. So having said that, there is an interesting clip that I found while listening to the year in review of the Friendly Atheist podcast. And I selected 4 minutes. Hopefully that's the full context of the clip. And I would like to play that because there's another clip I want to play after that I think would help to give people an idea of keeping not only skepticism, as Jolene was referring to, when navigating the internet, but watching shows on the internet, including ours. So without further ado, I will share the screen because my Auntie Kathy loves it when I cite my sources, and I'm going to do that now. So this is from the Friendly Atheist podcast. It is the 2023 Garbage Year in Review. I think it's a good 20 minutes into the episode where Jessica explains this, and I'm going to play this for you all now. If you cannot hear it, please let me know right away. So here we go. 4 minutes. We can pause it at any point in time.
Did a woman say regrew during
And it'll take a
prayer
moment.
service?
You can hear it.
I can't believe you remember that.
It's one of my favorites.
It was so funny.
And I know that because I didn't see any pictures.
Still haven't?
She didn't post any.
Why?
She just said her toes regrew in church, and the church kept promoting that. Like, look what happens when you pray.
So this refers to a story that happened sometime in 2023, and I covered this somewhat on a recent show. Well, maybe it was a good 4 or 5 months ago, where a woman, she lost a few toes, and the church that she goes to, this was a while ago, so I'm not going to get the story right, was saying that because of her faith in the Lord, her toes regrew, and she never posted pictures or any evidence to support that claim. So that's what Jessica and Hemmett are talking about at this very moment. There are quite a few wrestlers who die before the average person. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But with all the training and the stress that they go through, and with some of them, all the drugs that they do, prescription or otherwise, you can kind of see why they die early.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it sucks.
Toes come back. Do you think they are implying that, like, we can heal your wounds or extra toes?
heal your wounds, but also the church has a habit of saying that stuff.
Yeah.
And my favorite part about that story is I don't remember if it was only me that posted about it, but I'm pretty sure I helped in this particular case. But that actually made news in local news, in national outlets, because they're like, look what these crazy ass people are saying. And the church couldn't back up any of this. Of course they couldn't.
Of course.
But it was so
How could
funny to
anybody?
watch them get called out on their bullshit for once. Because, again, they're not the only church that pretends miracles happen. But it was amusing to see one of these churches that says miracles happen actually get asked, so can you prove this miracle happened since you're bragging about it in church? And they're like, what? How could you ask us such a question?
All right. So that was to lead into the kayfabe, because using that story, Jessica is going to explain what kayfabe is and how it is used in that story's context. That's why this is a 4-minute clip. And you know what Junior is saying is interesting, because that would mean, by extension, or lack thereof, that all bald people are atheists because they don't pray to have their hair grow back. Right? Are you bored?
I'm a witch. No, I'm just listening.
Ooh, I want to see that movie. I think that's about the Von Erichs.
Yes.
Yes.
Yep. Very, very sad story.
Yeah.
And you don't know who Orange Cassidy is, but he can't run the ropes to save his life. So.
Yeah, I think all but one of the Von Erichs is dead now.
Yeah, Kevin and his kids, I believe. And there's some kids around, but yeah, I think that's so.
Okay, so we're getting to the meat of it at this point.
I have my new favorite comparison, and I just came up with it while I wasn't listening to you talk.
Uh-huh.
Do you know what kayfabe is?
The fakeness of it all.
Yeah, so like
wrestling.
It's wrestling. So the idea is like kayfabe is sort of like being in character in the narrative. Like basically everybody in a wrestling arena is part of like a fake narrative
we're
that
all
we're
in
all
on
doing.
it.
Yeah, we're all in on it. We know it's all choreographed. We know it's about winners and losers, but like it's fun, right? And that's fine with me. I don't give a shit. Like I think they don't treat those guys great.
We're all having a good
Maybe
time.
we should be more worried about head trauma. But Fighting with My Family was an outstanding movie. Florence Pugh is a genius. But I think that can be laid on to the Christian community, because I think it's somebody like this kind of breaks kayfabe of like, no, we're not supposed to say that. Like we can't say something that can be proven or disproven. You can only claim something that nobody can you can neither prove nor disprove. Like you have to stay in character with us. So like, I think
does that make sense so far? Applying kayfabe to this story about the woman? Yeah. Okay. Good.
Be the same thing of like, oh, now I can fly. Like, no, that's not what we're saying. We're saying like my back doesn't hurt anymore, or my knee doesn't hurt anymore. You can't claim something that's stepping outside of like the kayfabe that we've all decided on. And I was just listening to
church is a shared delusion. As soon as you break out of that and other people see your weird little video where the lady's like, I can stand on my tippy toes now. The whole facade breaks down.
Yeah, I just listened to, and I'd really highly recommend it. Ona Ross and Carey is doing a series on a woman whose name I cannot think of right now. Would you mind? No, it doesn't matter.
So this is the Friendly Atheist podcast, and I'm asking for forgiveness rather than permission for playing this, but just so everyone knows where it came from. And the opinions expressed by Hemant and Jessica do not necessarily reflect the views of Alex and the Garbage Man. Just so everyone knows, I don't need texts going hard on them saying, well, I can't believe you would play that. It's just for explanation, because Tex, you're going to be involved in this in a minute. Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Not in a bad way.
I know.
I'm kind of defending Tex in a way, and we'll get to that very soon. Back to what Junior had said. Documentaries about backyard wrestling. So yeah, those guys do it for the love because they get no money.
Stick around for the end of the show.
Yes.
There's some foreshadowing for you, Junior. Be here for the last video.
But she's a faith healer, and they went to one of her like performances or whatever.
That's the right word for
Yeah.
it.
And they talked so much about, it's the idea of when you see a faith healer, you collapse, whatever.
Yeah.
That's what
Their
we've been
peer
trained.
pressure is what's pushing you over, not the energy of God.
And they're going through like each of these people and talking about like, and then she like checked behind her before she fell, or she fell before the oil even hit her, or like people kind of fuck shit up.
Yeah.
And we're all supposed to ignore it because like we're all in this shared delusion. And I just really like thinking about that now of it's sort of kayfabe.
That's what church is.
Adjacent.
I like it.
Anyway.
Okay. So I played that clip in order to play this one for you. Kind of like with disgraced comedian Bill Cosby, he was on stage doing one of his stories, and I said, "No, I told you that story in order to tell you this one," which is a line that I love and I love using. Separate the art from the artist, and you're okay. So, going to the harsh truth, and they got over 500 subscribers. They did a 6-hour charity stream for the Abandoned Pet Project. They raised a good deal of money. So great on them. But going back to a review that they did from one of their Christmas movies, which is called Bad Santa, Tex had an interesting way of explaining himself to a degree. And again, I'm asking for forgiveness rather than permission. This is a bit of an insight into Tex, and not to denigrate him, not to make fun of him, not to criticize him, but just to give him the kind of floor so that he explains why he sometimes does and says what he does and says under the, for part of that. Okay. But I'm pretty sure Tex is going to know what I'm talking about. So I'm going to play this again. Feel free to ask me to pause it at any point. Okay, so here we go.
As somebody who has held on to his right to free speech, and I'll say whatever I want, whenever I want, I don't really care. That's just the way that I am. If I offend somebody, you know what? That's on you, not me. It's a joke, not a dick. Don't take it so hard. Do what you need to do. But this whole being canceled thing is not real. Just because a few idiots on Twitter get upset, that doesn't stop you from doing anything. That doesn't make you less of a paycheck. That doesn't make you have to get rid of your house and leave.
Yeah.
I just want to comment on how uncomfortable Jeremy looks right now.
Yeah.
I'm ready. I'm right with Tex. I can't wait to hear what he's gonna say. But Jeremy looks so like he's like, oh shit, where is this going? Like he has that look, and Frank's just kind of like, oh, I better get the mute button ready. And Jeremy looks totally like, oh fuck, where are we going? So anyway.
I think at that point Jeremy thinks he knows where it's going.
Yeah.
But Tex goes in in my opinion, a bit of a better direction. And Frank, I think either Jeremy or Tex explained it later on in that same show that sometimes Frank will ask someone a question so that Frank can do something else with regards to the show, which is great because he knows that Tex and Jeremy will just go on and on and on and on.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, get to it again. Like I just like the way Jeremy's kind of go, oh, here we go. So anyways, continue, please.
Wow.
Red's coming in hot. I love her.
But I'm playing this clip in part so that Big Red understands where Tex is coming from as well. And at the end of this clip, which is another, I think, 3 minutes or so, if Tex either wants to go off in the chat or come on the show and further explain himself, because sometimes when you're on stream talking and you listen back to it, sometimes you're like, oh, that didn't come out right, or I missed this or I missed that. It's happened to me many times. But I play this so that we, not only as Alex and the Garbage Man, but our audience can understand a little bit better where Tex is coming from and why he sometimes says what he says. Now, keeping in mind what Big Red has said in the past with regards to what Tex has said, I can see where she's coming from. This is just a little bit more of clarification and helping to clear things up and keep things in perspective, because this is the internet. This is a show, our show and their show. Hello, Sarah.
Hi, man.
We need to. What happened to sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me? What happened to that?
What happened on Twitter got mad. The 3 people on Twitter started yelling, and Twitter listened to it. That's what happened.
And that's also the same 3 people that said, "Oh, we demand representation, and we need to see more of blah 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 in films," even though we don't pay to go support it, so it makes $5 in the box office.
Stop.
But that's a different.
Yeah.
Stop. Sorry, I'm going to do this because I've echoed this text. Look at whether it was a good movie or not. Look at the Ocean's 8 with the females. Nobody cared. Look at the Ghostbusters movie with the females. I never saw it. I didn't even want, and it wasn't even like I was like, I don't care. The first one, I loved it so I don't want to see this one. I didn't want to. I haven't watched the new Ghostbusters because I like the first one so much. So I can stand here and say it's not because it was recasted with a woman cast. It's because I didn't even watch the new one, and a lot of that was recorded in Fort McLeod up the road. I don't care. I don't want to see it. Like that's actually really good, Junior. I like that. I can't unsee it. Oh.
So on the next Harsh Truth show, Tex should mistakenly call Jeremy Tim Pool every time.
Yeah. But I agree with Tex on, and I've said it before, that Nick Sticks and Stones, like when Family Guy, I've talked about it on here many times before, the episode where Neil hyped Pierce's pants fell down and Peter missed it, and it shows the Fox studio, and they're like, we got like 10 complaints, and for every one complaint counts as 1 million people, so 10 million people were offended. That is the problem across the board with the world. It's that small little niche group that is super, super loud than the rest of us people who don't have time to do this crap and be on here on Twitter and stuff the time that they are. So continue. Oh, well, there's a chat and that's a Bill Burr bit. If you haven't seen that Bill Burr bit, go out of your way to go see it. He talks about the WNBA, how it's horrible. And that how all you women, we need equal rights. We need this. We need that. You're not even supporting basketball. It can be the worst football game, and the guys will watch it. The games will still draw. It could be 2 teams that are going to suck, but guess what? We'll still watch it. Why aren't the women doing this for basketball in their sports? Anyways, continue.
Before we do, on what Tex was saying, that old saying of sticks and stones may break my bones, but names will never hurt me. I think in this day and age, it kind of depends on the words or names being used. And I'm going to go to the extreme example of, is it the N-word? Is it the F slur? Because sure, the person who's being called that, they can most likely rise above that, turn the other cheek, and just walk away. However, that does not mean that the word should have been said, or in some cases, the word should have been ignored, because there are still consequences for actions.
And I'm glad you said that, because now my retort will be, my son got an in-school suspension for telling a kid that he sucked at basketball.
That's it?
That's it. He got an in-school suspension because he told a kid that he sucked at sports. He got a second in-school suspension a few days later because for some reason he found some phloem, or it's like a new age plasticine and stuff. And he made a penis out of it and went to this kid and went, "Hey, look, I got your wiener." And the kid went, and my kid got a second in-school suspension. That's the problem. And then to have the teacher, the principal say, this was back in junior high, but to say, well, maybe I need to have a conversation with his parents about not being so sensitive. You think? You think? Fucking world raised by a bunch of pussies. Yeah, my son got a suspension for that. For telling the kid that he sucked at sports. These kids would not last a fucking day with us in sport. Oh my God. Can you imagine? Holy crap.
I'm sure that at some point in time, Big Red is going to chime in, and she's going to make a good point because she has in the past. Maybe with regards to the sticks and stones comment, or maybe it's going to be something else. And I'm just waiting. I'm watching the comments because she's going to say something at some point, and most likely I'm going to agree with her. So then I'm going to have to waffle on my position of, well, I got to show this so we all know what Tex is talking about, you know?
Okay, go ahead.
All right.
Argument. My point is, don't worry about being canceled. If you don't like what somebody's saying, walk away. That's all you got to do. You don't have to jump online and bitch about it. If you don't like it, don't watch it. Don't support it. I don't like love movies. I'm not going to see them. They're not getting my money. It's just the way that it is. I know who I am. I'm true to myself. The people who know me know I mean no harm to anybody. As Jeremy and Cora were alluding to a minute ago, I'm an equal opportunity. I will make fun of myself. I'll make fun of Frank, Cora, Jeremy. I'll make fun of anybody.
That is the crux of what I am getting at, why I played this clip. He'll make fun of himself and everybody. I myself have said on this show in the past, if the joke is there, make the joke. As long as we all understand it is a joke. Communication in this day and age is so important, and that's one of the reasons I wanted to play this, because Tex, for some of the faults that he may have, considering what he has said, I think this does help us to understand not only him, but other people who are on shows like this, that you don't have to take what he says as so serious, because a lot of it is a joke. And that's what we have to keep in mind. We're on the internet. We're watching a show. This is a show where we are right now watching a show. So if we have to get to the point where, and we have, you and I, Nick, where we say something, then we have to couch it in, this is a joke. What we just said is a joke, so that we don't get flagged by AI. So be it. You know, this is the point that we've gotten to. I want to catch up on these comments. You hear it.
Yeah, and I totally know that's what he's saying. So Nano is Alma's youngest child. I'm glad that Nano got a kick out of that. That's her youngest boy, Nano. Oh no, there's no A there. It's hilarious that her children, none of them speak Mexican or Spanish. None of them. Sorry, she hates when I do that.
Don't say Mexican.
No, she hates. I'm sorry. I apologize, because I know she hates that. She'd be cutting a promo on me right now. But they don't. They just won't learn. They tried, Alma said, but they don't speak Spanish.
I hope you detect us. You know what? I've been thinking about creating a short little video that will pop up on the screen that says sarcasm. You know, it'll flash just so we all know. But then I love this. That's why I respect it. I've never heard her say that. Seen her say that before. Have to say the shit I say is shits and giggles, because in the recent past, when I read Big Red and Tex going at each other, I start to get concerned that they're not joking with each other, that they're actually, you know, hating each other and just seething and coping and hitting the keys. But when both of them say this, then I understand that within the context of this show, they are going at each other, but it's in a playful, joking way. And that's how I want to keep it on this show. That sure, we may say some inflammatory things, but as long as we all understand that it's all in good fun, it's a joke.
Well, yeah. We bugged the crap out of Chad about being old, and then the guy is not in a wheelchair, and though I'm sure he doesn't enjoy some pudding, his diet is not consistent of pudding. Like he eats more things like dick and stuff too. Like, it's just, he I mean, good Lord.
Yes, written words. Yes, that is very important. And I'll go back to the outro of episode 100, where I put in at the very end that clip of saying, at the end of the day, words are just words. And I'm going, because that was a reference. What I was retorting to was a reference back to what Brody was saying in the old show, which is what ended that show.
Mm-hmm.
And I've said it many times on this show, we have to explain ourselves to the nth degree like a politician so that our words cannot be misconstrued. So all the excitement is lost because we have to stop and say, well, this is just a joke and this is why, and I was referencing this and I was making fun of that, and it's all in good fun. This is kind of a waste of time, but I do enjoy having a conversation like this going off into the weeds.
Okay, keep going.
Yes, I agree with Junior. When people use provocative humor, as long as it's in the context of joking. It took you that long to type that sentence?
He's been working on that since last week.
You old man with your arthritis written fingers. See, it's a joke.
That's just it. Yeah,
Okay, we're gonna get through this.
Okay, go ahead.
But I still love all of them, and at the end of the day, I'd have their back if they needed me. It's jokes. We need to stop taking ourselves so seriously and realize that, hey, we don't have to be offended all of the time. We can let some of the stuff roll off of our back and still have our life and not cry for a week and just destroy ourselves because somebody said something that we don't like. You know what I'm saying? It's just one of those things.
It's like the argument that YouTubers make when they get a lot of hate or something. It's like, then don't watch my channel.
Right.
Right.
That's exactly it. That's exactly it.
Just because you don't like it, you don't have to fucking sit there and watch it. You don't have to ruin it for everyone else who does like it, who is into it. And
I don't like CNN. Guess what? I don't listen to them. I don't like
exactly
Brian Stelter and Mad Cow, that woman, Rachel Mad Cow, whatever her name is. I don't watch them.
Mad Owl,
whatever, whoever that is. I'm not their audience. I don't give them any attention.
So 2 points. I do find it funny when Tex and Cora are going at each other on the show because they are not exactly diametrically opposed politically, but they will throw jabs at each other, and I do find humor in that. But what Junior is saying, most people are literal thinkers. I myself, in my life outside this, I am a very literal thinker and interpreter, although I do have to realize that I should be thinking a bit more broadly and open-minded. So I'm not this perfect person who's got it all together, but I am trying. And this year so far is going well for me because I'm being more patient with people. Yeah.
Continue.
Okay.
I mean that people here, and I'm going to agree with you. I'm very different than Tex, but we joke a lot on here, but he and actually are genuine friends. We can talk. And
right. Yeah.
I disagree with a lot of things, but I don't have a problem with, people having access to things that I don't like. Just like I want to be like Hallmark movies. Oh my God, those now they're on everywhere. Now Amazon has their own and Netflix has their own, and there's like it's like I have to navigate around these things everywhere because I don't know what is that one of those fake Hallmark ones. I don't watch them, but if you want to watch them, it's great. And this Bad Santa movie, like I said at the beginning, might not be appropriate for children, but adults should still be able to fucking watch it. So
like
people need to realize not everything is made for everybody.
Right.
There is a niche audience for every single little thing. Like, okay, I'm obviously a NASCAR guy. There's a big Dale Earnhardt 3 on my wall. Are y'all going to watch NASCAR on Sunday? No, you're not, because that's a me thing. Not made for you. So you don't have no business complaining about it. It's just I find it stupid.
Somebody named their kid 3 in this show after Dale Earnhardt. Named the kid
That's hilarious.
3. Everybody called him 3.
Well, we still have free speech in this country. We need to remember that. Just because some idiot says you're canceled, bro, on Twitter, once again, going back to Texas Chainsaw, we saw the appropriate response when somebody says, get ready to get canceled, bro. You pull out your chainsaw and you cut them into itty bitty pieces. That is the appropriate response when somebody tries to cancel you. Jeremy knows what I'm talking about.
Now, I will let you in on a little bit of not really behind the scenes, but when Tex was kind of new on the harsh truth, they did their 2020 to review and wrap up in best 5 movies of that year. And one of Tex's was, of course, Texas Chainsaw. And the scene he's referencing with the killing of all the young people in the bus with the chainsaw, the way he explained it was that if you're a Democrat, that deserves what happened to you. I was seething when I heard that because I thought he meant it literally. So, Junior, I have kind of a brain disorder as well in that moment when I heard it. But now, having heard Tex explain himself that way, it's a joke. I'm pretty sure, and please Tex sound off in the comments, that he doesn't actually want Democrats to be cut up with a chainsaw. It's a funny yet edgelord thing to say. That's what I'm getting at with all of this.
Right.
I stand by every word. Oh, okay. Now you fucked it up, Tex. Now we got to go back to the beginning. I take back everything I said.
Now I have to redo it. Oh, shit.
Yes. But you know what I'm saying?
Okay. Now my retort to this.
Yeah.
And Alex did say I had a point because he didn't think of it this way. No one will be able to find the episode because it is gone. But, and I don't like bringing it up because our ex-co-host has grown a lot as a person. So I'm going to preface by saying that if Jolene is still here, she's going to, I believe, like I am close with them. I am involved with their children. I consider them my nephews. Like I am close to my co-host and his family, former co-host. But he said something that crossed the line, in my opinion, to the point where one of my uppers at my job told me that needs to come down now because this could be bad. Saying something like what Tex said about the, this like that happens to Democrats and la la la. Hey man, I'm, that you can take that as a joke, but when what was said on that day, and he has admitted that, yeah, that was not a good thing to say. He being our ex-co-host. So you can say things and be like, there's no making a joke of it. I guess I'm trying to say you can't. No, there are things in the world that you cannot joke about. And I don't want to say what he said, Junior, because it's not going to happen. But to the point, like I left the show. Like I actually shut my computer down and left, and then got a text from a coworker and an upper coworker that said that needs to go. Now that was my part to that. So things can be said that you cannot. There are things you cannot make jokes about, and what he did, and he knows it. It's a dead issue. It's gone. But I'm just saying, there are things. I mean, we say dumb things here too. Like I fully intend on someone, I hope they run backwards through a cornfield and so I'm not saying like hopefully do that. I mean, I've tried it a few times and really they don't go up your butt. I've tried. Okay.
Yeah, corn doesn't grow like this.
Yeah, and you cannot run backwards like Ace Ventura with your butt open, especially as a fat guy like me. It does not work. Now, what is being said there by I don't know which
Chamatuk, hello.
Spawn is on there or if it's Tammy, I don't know. But what happened to parents just saying, hey, this movie is not for you. The show is not for you. Don't let me catch it. Why? Oh, that's why. Because you can't discipline your children properly anymore. I catch you watching this, you're going to get cuffed upside the head. This isn't for you. What happened to that? What happened to parents taking the initiative to be like, yo, this is not age appropriate for you. You're not going to be watching this. Right?
At the time, Junior, that would have been the case, but again, he has grown since then.
Yeah,
he's changed. Yeah,
I'll put it to you this way: I would love if it were absolutely possible. I don't know if AI is this far in. I think Alex brought this idea up to have him on a show now with like his version of him in 2018. That would be amazing. That would be amazing. Hey G, all right, I didn't know which one, so that's Hey G. But yeah, whatever happened, like, and that's the thing. It was on the parents to regulate what kids, and our kids gonna sneak and do it. Of course they are. Especially now. It's so easy. Yeah, we got a troll.
Excellent. I can't wait to get to that one.
And that's just it, Joel. And I know that. And I consider him and you one of some of my best friends. I was all like, and like going with the boys to wrestling. It was great. And yeah, he's a completely different word. Like I brought this up with my while we were setting our band stuff up today, me and my bass player. People are allowed to change. That's something that a lot of people in this world will not let happen. Be able to change who they were or are. I had I was that asshole back 2014 that was like, oh, they just want to transition so they can go into a bathroom to do horrible things. And it was actually a friend who I don't talk to anymore that was like, dude, you need to give your head a shake. And we had a great conversation, and my views have completely changed on that. Completely. People should be allowed to change and grow as a person. And he has a lot.
Yeah.
Like I said, Joe, could you imagine that show? Joe, could you imagine old him versus new him on a show like this? It'd be amazing.
And in the very last episode of that show, which was I think 2 days later, bro, he did. So, I caught myself there.
He did, yeah.
He did go into how he was playing a character, so he understood the grift of saying things for attention, and he did apologize for it. So that was part of his turnaround. That is, the latest South Park is not really appropriate for kids.
Really, is any of the South Parks appropriate for kids? Like, even at the time when it first came out, like, even by today's standards, the old South Parks, yeah, that's nothing now. But at the time, it was like, this is not a kid's show, right? There we go. I feel like this is Freak Nasty on another account.
Gloria, I pray for you. And both my co-host and I have unfortunately seen not a uterus, but a vajayjay that was completely destroyed. And when I see your comment, I immediately think of that. So I pray for you so hard.
And I love the end because right away my mind goes to the Get Naked song. You only love me when you want punani.
Gloria, if you could show up once every show with a great comment like that, that would really help us if you want to. I heard this show not this show. This show? Or a show?
I heard this with oh, maybe he's saying a show because like
a show.
Yeah.
Oh,
awesome. We don't. Oh fuck! I mean, hello, Casey. wait! Fuck off!
Since Tex is the big God person here, Tex, please pray for Gloria's uterus. Please,
hey, are you single? My friend Chad's single.
Oh, fuck. Well, I think we just lost Chad.
Yeah, I'm gonna get a text right now. Listen here, asshole.
And Nick shows compassion.
I'm sorry, Chadney. But I think you like quiche, don't you? Yeah, exactly. It'd be like Alex Jones versus like, I don't know. Who's again like someone from the left? Again, that's what we said. There's no one on the left that's like, you know.
Jesus, it's been so many years since I've had quiche. I don't know what it smells or tastes like. Can you describe it using words?
It's like I was sitting in the car and turned the seat warmer on, and it smelled like fish tuna all of a sudden.
Junior, do not assume that Gloria has a husband.
Yes.
Maybe it just naturally smells like quiche, and that's why she doesn't have a husband.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Yeah, I think it is. Yeah, it is literally. That is the name of the title. Yeah, not suitable for kids. Yeah.
Wow.
So I hope G's not watching it. He's still a kid.
What?
Are you from Southern Posh Fanatis?
Push Fontes.
Push Fontes. Okay.
Oh. That's my new.
Oh, why are we
extreme
not
metal
writing
band
these down?
name.
I thought, okay, I gotta keep a list here because I think we've had a few ones here of like Texas. We had Texas show, and I think we had. See, I'm gonna get the book out here. Okay, so there was band names, and I think we had like a tech show that I forget what we called it. All right, what was that? Destroyed Vijay. Now, I think it has more power if it's like real butch lesbians. They have to be like just because you think that they would like destroy the vajayjays.
They got to be built like power lifters.
Like you keep seeing those videos and the guy puts Arnold's face on like Whitney Houston's body singing, "Oh, I want to dance with somebody." That's what they got to be like. Just swole though. Destroyed Vijay. Band names. All right. Thanks, Tax. My side project. I'm gonna wear a wig and say I'm transitioning. Be destroyed Vijay's will be my movie.
You know, it might help to increase the viewer count by 1 or 2 if we did have male nudity and homoerotic subtext, but we have to pixelate the male nudity, and the homoerotic subtext has to be read by AI.
Tex.
Could it be Arnold AI?
Tex.
Oh, we'd have to pay him a lot of money for that.
I'll pay him in bullets and beer.
Okay.
That's the budget we have.
Yeah, because the United States sells bullets for like 2 cents each.
And the male nudity has to be redneck. Wearing a wig, putting lipstick on.
Ew.
Dancing to Goodbye Horses.
Okay, that's too far.
Oh, sorry.
That's too far.
Anyways.
Derek, okay, all right. I had said this how long ago that I was trying to look into AI for our show so that I could, do exactly what you were saying.
Yeah.
Put Brody in the 2018 version.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I still haven't gotten that far.
Oh, look who popped back up as soon as you heard male nudity. Wait, he's like, hey, I put Game Boy games up my butt. That'll do for you. Read Texas comments.
That's not a bad idea, Chad.
Oh, have you seen the video? I should have sent it to you. So it's one of those ones where like the video, like, what are your pronouns? And like, it's this person with that big crazy hair, and this guy's dressed as Batman. It's like, my pronouns are Batman. And they're like, no, seriously. He's like, no, I told you, my pronouns are Batman. Pronouns Batman. He's wearing a full bat suit. All right, let's get into our movies or into our shows or our videos, those things.
Stupid
yes,
people. Okay. Yeah, we'll get into that first and then we'll be off. So for Gloria, we always have a stupid person and a Karen segment before we end the show. And now it is time for other stupid people other than ourselves. Stupid people. You ever been in court?
I have no. In the gallery, yeah, I've never been in Churro, but gallery, yes. Oh, I think I know what video you're gonna play.
Yep, here it is. Shout out to the Guardian.
Toby!
I can't show that in slow motion, unfortunately. You see the airtime you got on that?
Oh my, like this, like.
If I'm in a better place in my life, I'm not doing drugs. I'm not out there committing crimes now. And I feel like I should be given a shot.
I appreciate that, but I think it's time that he gets a taste of something else because I just can't with that history. In accordance with the laws of the state of Nevada, this court.
Like, what did he think? Like, he just made it 100 times worse. He literally 100 times worse.
Yep.
Yep.
What not to do in court.
Yeah. Rule number 1: don't jump at the judge. Like, holy crap.
He did get props for the leap, because that, even if that's at ground level, that's a good 4 or 5 feet that judge's podium.
Yeah, the guy's got hops.
Yeah. And then people gather around, and he got,
wow.
Hey, Dad, he got sentenced today.
Oh, I got to see if I can find, because, that had to add something huge. That was in Vegas, right?
Yeah, Las Vegas. Yeah. Well, now, here's where I'm going to go with that. That because of that, now courts, maybe America or the world over, are going to have plexiglass or bulletproof glass or security standing in front of the judge or raising up the judge's podium to an insane degree because of that one incident.
Okay. 10 hours ago. Okay. So, hey, I just want to say, so I don't forget this, Junior, you're here. Like I said, I want to see your comment after the last video, because we don't come back after the last video, because I want everyone's reaction to this. So the man who's seen jumped in the video case, he was sentenced to 19 months to 4 years in prison for a charge of attempted battery.
Yeah, Big Red's right. That's going to be a different judge, and that's a different case now.
So it said that, this has nothing to do with that was going to be his sentence before this happened. So here's the thing, this is, and I find, and maybe Tex can attest to this, and maybe, I'm really into watching court cam and stuff, and I'm into true crime podcasts and whatnot. And how many times you hear people get away with crap, and they get away with crap, and they do this and they do that, and they never. And she finally just basically said, you're obviously not understanding what being a bad person is, so you're screwed. Because he was charged with 7 counts of battery on the protected person in connection with last week's attack. He's screwed. He's screwed. So his court history is, wow, good one, G. I like that one. Included 3 felonies, misdemeanors, multiple domestic violence, robberies, and attempted home invasions. Wow. Wow. Saying nothing, and that hasn't happened yet. By Thursday, she was back at work sore and stiff. Yeah, so, all right. So, awesome.
So, lesson learned, don't attack the judge.
Yeah, no, that's not good. That's don't do that. Those are things, because if you do that, you're going to have a bad day.
South Park.
Yeah, there you go.
Yep. And Karen. Ooh, I got way too many, and I've forgotten about almost all of them. So this is going to be fun. Yes, there it is. Okay, I'm going to play a random one that is only 18 seconds long. So if it's bad, you won't have to suffer that long through it.
Perfect.
We're having that 80s style hair. that 80s hair, that was really poofy. I'm going to be watching Die Hard pretty soon, and Bonnie Bedelia, she had some hair. Yeah, but it's Bonnie Bedelia. No, I don't want to share the screen.
What? Yeah.
I want to share a video. My fault. I should be in the stupid people segment. Every time I screw up like that, compile that all together and say, Alex, you're stupid. Yeah, I am.
And we have our moments. that seemed fake. I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe.
But I got a kick out of it. I liked her face though when the gun got turned around. That was pretty good.
I agree, Casey. Great show. Died too soon, but for reasons, actual reasons.
Yep. Yep.
Happy New Year, Casey. Good to see you. Casey's doing a lot of Sega game reviews on his channel right now. So anyone who loves Sega, go there. You would make that reference.
Is this love? Wait, no, that's freaking Whitesnake. Wrong 80s band.
Wrong. Righteous. Oh, that sounds familiar. Is that a band or a show? Who, the judge or the guy getting sentenced?
Yeah, right.
I'll play another one because, yeah, that could be troll or not a troll.
Okay.
Oh, all right. Sometimes it's great having a bad memory because going through this stuff is going to be new to me as well.
Hey, wait a minute. I did say that.
Out of the store, please. Please get out of the store.
You're not allowed to take pictures. That's bullshit.
Yeah, we are out of the store.
We just refused your service, so you should probably go.
Get out of the store, please.
You had no business talking to me like that.
We're not talking to you in any special way.
Don't you fucking talk to my mom like that! You don't fucking talk to my mom like that! Don't fucking touch me! You need to leave! Don't fucking touch me! You need to leave!
That was quite the voice. I was not ready for that.
Yeah. Who's got the higher pitched voice, the mom or the son?
No doubt. Wow. Crazy.
Well, worth the watch. Righteous Gemstones. Big ups from Big Red.
Yeah, and it sounds like, yeah, I haven't even heard of that. But again, I don't watch a lot of TV, so.
Yeah, me neither.
You know, I just don't anymore, so.
I restrict myself to movies. Movies only, not even documentaries. OG Xbox. Ooh, nice. Arcade. Wow. HBO with that. Okay, nice. I'm sure I could have taken 3 seconds to look that up, but it's much more interesting if we play Crazy People.
And it's just easier if you just tell us what to do, and then we don't even got to take the time to go look for it, so.
Yes.
Yep.
Oh, nice. That sounds cool. Danny McBride and John Goodman.
I like me some John Goodman.
Yeah. Where did he have him to begin with? No, probably not.
I'm guessing not.
I was going to say I was going to do one more, but they're all at least a minute, if not almost 2. Nah, I think we've gone on long enough.
I think so. So yeah, like I said, guys, I really want you to stay tuned for the video. You can leave a comment like at the end of the video because yeah, it's so my music. So my buddy Cole, my drummer, sent this to me. I'll make sure I get the right one, but it is where's Cole? I thought I had it ready, but then I brought it up and I blanked out on no, he always sent it to me in the text. Never mind. So the band is Opeth.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is from 2021. Oh, and I shit myself. Excuse me. And the song is The Drapery Falls. Great song. Song number 4. Yeah, Cole's got me into some really darker stuff than I usually listen to, so I'm quite enjoying it. So
good.
Yes.
Yeah, I've heard that about HBO. There's nothing that's so low for text that he won't go there.
Please, Ryan. Yeah, takes a picture, send him my way. I want to see where Mac 1's ground is now blank. See, I'm actually thinks that because he wins the arguments because people would start laughing at him.
Yeah.
Right? So
that reminds me of I think it was Ryan who showed that footage, the inside of Mac 1 right before it was demolished.
Yeah.
Oh, I wish something would have been filmed there, because last year I watched a whole lot of found footage movies, and Mac 1 would have been just ripe for the picking for a found footage movie.
It is such a shame that they weren't able to bring enough people together to make that building better, so they could have used it for something, because they had the stage in it and everything. So it is a shame. Hey, as long as you were trying to better yourself and change your highs or lows, that's what matters.
No, I don't think he's being serious. I think he's trolling. Aren't you, Gloria? I mean, Tex. All right. Out of the many, many movies that I watched in the past 3 weeks, there were two that really, really stood out to me. The first one is from 2022 from South Korea. It is called Project Wolf Hunting. This is great. One of the reasons that this is great, and I'm going to scroll down, hopefully this is a selling point for some people. According to the director, 2.5 tons of blood was used throughout the production of the film. And if you watch the film, oh yeah, it gets to that point where people get sliced up, people get shot, they hit the ground, blood starts pooling out. That's how it should be. What is this movie about, you may wonder? Good question. Thank you for asking. Follows dangerous criminals on a cargo ship who are transported from the Philippines to South Korea as they unleash a sinister force after an escape attempt leads to a riot.
Good night, Big Red.
Thank you, Big Red. Take care. Thank you for being here. Okay. Makes sense. Got to stay pished. Thank you so much. Yes, Tex, I know you had talked about Evil Dead 2 in the past. It is one of my favorite films of all time, even to this day. More blood than Evil Dead 2. I think so. So, Tex, please give it a watch. That one, specifically, if you can stand subtitles, please watch it. Great film. This film took me in a direction that was entirely different than I thought it was going, and I love that about movies. The other movie that I watched is called We Bought a Zoo. So something totally different than Project Wolf Hunting.
We Bought a Zoo.
Yes. This is directed by Cameron Crowe. Cameron Crowe, he's got a very good style of filmmaking in terms of, and I'm not directly making this comparison, but in kind of the way that John Hughes made films with regards to humanity and relationships. There were a lot of really good moments in this movie that I'm not afraid to admit teared me up. And I don't usually watch these kinds of movies, but this one was really good. Probably more of a family film. It is PG, so yes, I really recommend this one. Set in Southern California, a father moves his young family to the countryside to renovate and reopen a struggling zoo. Very good movie. The main character that Matt Damon plays, real guy. Now, you know, based on, I think it's based on a novel of the same name that the main character wrote. So maybe some grains of salt, but still a very good film. Highly recommend it.
Sweet.
Now, for anyone who's going to say, "Oh, you're a sissy," there are a lot of films that I'm watching right now. And Tex, this is regarding the website that I referred you to a few months ago. A lot of really terrible movies. So I watch a variety of movies. I don't restrict myself to a single genre. I wouldn't call myself a movie buff, but I do like watching a lot of different genres of movies. Yes, Tex, please check it out. And we thank everyone for being here tonight, including Dad, Casey, Gloria, Graydon, Alma, Sarah, Chad, Junior, Jolene, Big Red, Bolo, Tex, and Ryan. We shall return next Monday. Same Garbage Man time, same Garbage Man channel.
Yes.
Use the casting couch. Matt Damon. Wow.
Matt Damon.
Matt Damon.
Matt Damon.
Yes, Ryan, we will see you next week and everyone else. And hopefully we see sooner than later but again, people we haven't seen in a while. Overseer Penny, Jen, Tamara, my friend Sarah, Corey, both Trevors, both Cindy's, both my friends Jolene, Nick's mom, Nathan, my Auntie Kathy, and shout outs to Gareth, Susan, Ravi, and Ashley. Thank you, Dad.
Yeah, guys, have a great week.
Have a great week being old.
And no, not you, Chad. He's talking to Bruce.
I just can't help myself.
No. So you guys, again, love each other. Have a great week. Take care of each other. Stick around for the video because it's a doozy. So
I hope this is going to be a great year. I'm very hesitant considering when we went from 2019 to 2020, there was that same energy of it's going to be a great year. And look what happened there. It wasn't as terrible for me as it was for other people, but it still wasn't a great year overall. So be hesitant. There's still a war or two going on, and we don't know what's going to happen. But at the very least, we can smile and, like my co-host says every week, love each other. And also think before you say something, think before you do something. If there's any lasting impact that my old man has had on me, it is those two little bits of advice. And yes, please do leave a comment for the moment of Zed. Thank you all very much.
Night.
What the hell? Oh shit! Oh shit! Oh shit!
It was at this moment that he knew. He fucked up.
Oh, he landed on his way!